Well, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome to Zyxel's Tech Talk. My name is Tri Nguyen. I am the product manager, sales manager here at Zyxel North America. Thank you for being here. I hope everything has been going well with you, and I'm excited to talk to you about one of the new products that have just been released called the USG Lite 60AX, and some information about it and how it can be used in a simple network for businesses who need basic levels of security, better than a SPI firewall type scenario, and using Nebula Cloud to provision all of that. So I'm excited to announce that today and to be able to share with you all the information regarding that new product and availability of that. So let's go ahead and jump in real quick as an introduction. I like this again to be interactive. So if you'd like to ask any questions, please use the Q&A section to send me your questions, and I will try to answer them in line with the presentation as well. So please have that discussion with me. I see a lot of our friends here, longtime partners. Welcome again. Just thank you for being a partner. If you're new and not a current Zyxel partner, we'll have some more information about how you can become a partner without any additional costs to that. But a quick introduction of who Zyxel is. As usual, we've been in business at Zyxel Networks for over 35 years, 100 million devices making connections worldwide, 700 employees serving 150 different markets, over 150 markets, and a million devices or businesses work smart with Zyxel solutions today, partners like yourself. And we're recognized in S&P's Global Sustainability Yearbook as well. We're one of the top 5% of the performers out there, and only one of 4 communication equipment industry vendors that are listed in this yearbook here. So we're proud of what we've accomplished as a company, and we partner with leaders out there in the market. So we don't just depend on our own technologies, but the expertise of many partners out there, companies like Norton, Webroot, Bitdefender, using the Amazon cloud for our solutions, companies like Wirestorm or Ekahau for wireless and video solutions there, and integrating and co-working with those together. We use their expertise, and because of that, we use their technologies within our products as well, and provide a award-winning brand of products that's recognized internationally. We are also a channel friendly solution for partners. So we're divided up in the US and Canada into 3 regions. We have the West region managed by Andy, the Central region's managed by Jacob, and the Eastern region in Canada is managed by David. So wherever you may be, they are there to help you on pre-sales, post-sales, tech support, getting the right people involved, the systems engineers involved, the distribution channels and sales reps at distribution involved as well. They're kind of your coordinator. We're here to help you and help all of the different partners and distributors get the products that you need into your hands as best as possible, and to support you in any way possible that we can. So that was just a quick introduction. We want to introduce to you the USG Lite 60AX. So a little bit about the naming convention. I know we had a product that is currently shipping today called the SCR 50AX. And one of the decisions that was made and why USG Lite is used today rather than the SCR is that we felt like the USG brand, the name of it, really conveyed security. It's been a long time unified security gateway naming that's been in the market for 10, 15 years now. And we felt like this was on that same class of type of product. And so it is not the USG Flex like you see today on our full featured UTM security appliance, but USG Lite, it focuses on speed, security, in a simple to deploy, simple to manage, easy to use, subscription-free type scenarios, so that your customers, they're better off using some level of security rather than getting some router off the shelf and putting in an SPI firewall and thinking that they have some sort of security. So this is a lot better for them. It's using similar technologies, and it's leveraging the technologies of our USG Flexes into this type of platform. But because of the successes with the USG Flexes and above, they allow for us to utilize those platforms, utilize that technology in these boxes without having to enhance or have licenses that are involved. So we really are offering a subscription-free device if you so choose. Now, of course, there's some kind of pro essential pack upgrades that you might want to add that might benefit for it, but it's all kind of part of a single device. Wayne does ask that it's not listed in D&H yet. So it will be available. It'll be start listing in July 1st. Some of the distributors already have it pre-skewed and have orders of the products coming in to their stocking. So you might see them kind of pop up within the next week or two. So keep that in mind. You can make the requests to them as well, and hopefully that will help to speed them up. But we are doing, it will be in the price list starting in July 1st to be available to be shipping on that. So yeah, you're welcome, Wayne. Thank you for that, for looking that up. So it focuses on security, connectivity, Wi-Fi, and most importantly, the Nebula Cloud platform. So just a raise of hands, I know this is kind of one of our biggest, I think, differentiators is the Nebula Cloud platform. How many of you who are in the webinar right now, how many of you, with raise of hands, use Nebula today or have tried Nebula and use it actively today? Wow, that's great. That's a majority of everybody here. And that's fantastic because again, that is, I think, is the main differentiator, whether what kind of hardware you use, wireless, APs, gateways, switches, they're always going to change. There's always going to be that piece of hardware that's in the network that's essential. And having something like the Nebula Cloud platform to kind of bring those all together into a single management platform is really what kind of binds the glue with your customers, information for you as an MSP or as an integrator or for the IT person in, for your customers themselves. So it's about protecting small and home offices. So for the scale, you could use this in a regular office, I guess any size office you really choose to, but we do recommend that it is kind of made for like a small office or a home office, maybe a small retail shop, a coffee shop for, POS systems, things like that. Something that you would normally think about buying a firewall off the shelf because it's either, they need to be within a certain budget, and they don't necessarily need full UTM, multi-gig UTM services, those kinds of things, and you're trying to have at least something that provides them a level of security, provides them wireless, you'd be able to have that visibility into that network and manage it in the Nebula Cloud. So the USG Lite 60AX offers a powerful subscription-free security, and it uses that same security cloud technology that our UTM USG Flexes and USG Flex H series models use. So it allows for you to defend against ransomware, malware, and with Wi-Fi 6 integrated into it, it gives you this entire package into a single box. So it's really great to drop it into, like I said, a home office or a small business office or a retail shop or a coffee shop, because it's all there. It gives you solid performance without compromise. Is a very powerful quad-core CPU in the device, so it gives you some great performance on not only on the security side, but also performance on the Wi-Fi and the network technology that's there to improve that overall experience of that client customer. It offers a dual 2.5 gig multi-gig tech connectivity, so you can use it as a WAN port, 2.5 gig, and also as a LAN port. So you can offer 2.5 to maybe additional devices, or maybe to an AP or to a switch, to a multi-gig switch to share out multi-gig connectivity. So going beyond that gigabit speed. So there are many ISPs that are kind of going beyond that gigabit port. And so having a 2.5 gig option there makes it a lot more flexible for you and future-proofing those offices. I think a lot of home or maybe the smaller offices have better access to some of those higher speeds, and having those higher speeds, people want to use a router that can sustain at those higher speeds as well to be able to fix on that. Rusty does ask a question: any limitations on configuring ports versus traditional USGs that we work with? So the traditional USGs that you work with today have, like the Flex and the H's, tend to have more configurable ports. These have some layer of configuration ports, so you can choose, like, WAN, LAN, and define some of those too. So there is some of that, but probably not to the extent. If you need some more complex scenarios where you're doing, many different types of VLAN, port-based VLANs, et cetera, then this might not be, you might want to think about going to like even the USG Flex 100 series, let's say, to get you to that kind of level of functionality. And I'll have a comparison basically between the USG Lite 60 and the USG Flex 100s in another slide later on, so you can kind of see kind of the and make that decision. So this is kind of focused on that simplicity part. We call it effortless deployment of networks here. And it also provides real-time threat monitoring and reporting. So similar to what you get in the Nebula platform with your apps, with the dashboard, et cetera, and it's in that security cloud, the USG Lite gives you that easy to set up, easy to see what's protecting threats against malware, et cetera, and give you that real-time information reporting that you can provide to your customers as well, or for your own use. And it offers a blazing fast Wi-Fi speeds, Wi-Fi 6, dual band radio, gives you up to 6 gigabits per second, but that's also obviously that's the PHY speed, the theoretical speeds of it. But I think the biggest differentiator of this model versus the SCR 50AXE is that it provides and allows for you to do smart meshing. The Zyxel smart mesh technology allows for you to form wireless links to another access point dynamically or automatically without having to run a wire, without having to run cabling. So this makes it a great, like, kind of again, small business extension type capable device. The beautiful thing is that it will work with any of our Nebula capable Wi-Fi access points that we sell today. So anything that supports that smart mesh can mesh directly to this device. So just imagine you deploying it into a coffee shop for their POS systems. You want to extend that wireless network into where the clients are seated or into the restaurant side, more coverage. You can add a Zyxel access point powered by an AC or DC adapter there for power plug, and just plug it in. You can configure it again with Nebula, be able to build that smart mesh tunnel between the two devices, and now offer Wi-Fi connectivity in that other space, again, without having to run wire. And if you need more coverage, you could technically just add another AP in a low coverage area. We don't recommend you doing too many hops because it does add latency to it. And so depending on your application, if you're just using it for data, great. But if you have maybe latency, like sensitive applications like voice or video, things like that, you might not want to go too many hops with that, especially if you're going to bridge it with other APs that are already bridged as well. If you could bridge it back to, the 60AX device itself, you'll probably improve that latency. But again, you have to decide and make those decisions. If you can run wire, we always recommend running wire is the best option, because you don't have to deal with the interference that might be there or might show up tomorrow, right? It may be a clean network airspace today, but neighbors and other devices that show up on that network could be providing or causing a lot more interference that could degrade those Wi-Fi links. So again, just use precaution. And because it does operate in that Nebula platform, you can get visibility of, the signal strength and information of those links that can help you troubleshoot all of that. So that Wi-Fi is important because, again, it's all in one type box. You get secure and connected in minutes. Because it's part of that Nebula platform, the onboarding process using the Nebula app, you can get up and running within minutes, just like you do with the existing devices that are part of Nebula. You use the setup wizard, you do that. You can scan in the QR code, that information, that whole process is all the same. There's no additional hardware or software that you need because it's part of that device. So you don't need any kind of cloud keys or external servers or devices that are on that network. You can just have it call home to the internet, goes back to Nebula. Nebula finds out its identity and downloads its configuration, downloads its latest firmware, and be ready to go. So again, that auto provisioning for mass market or mass deployment, maybe you're an MSP and you want to have this in all of the small coffee shops that you manage. You can deploy this for those POS systems with the router that's been templated and configured the way that it should be for your services, and be able to clone that information into any new deployment that you want. So that same cloning effect capability is available, of course, as long as you have kind of the Pro Pack within Nebula. So you're able to connect home users, teleworkers, because it offers them site-to-site VPN and remote access VPN capabilities. That is one differentiator between the USG Lite 60AX versus the SCR50. The SCR50 could do site-to-site VPN tunnels, so home to office, but clients with IPsec and LTTP cannot connect to it directly. Whereas the USG Lite 60 does offer that capability now. So it makes it an easy way to extend those small offices to work at home staff or to have remote access connectivity to the network. If you're doing maybe remote desktop management or other software management within their local network, you have a vehicle or a way to get into that network securely and be able to control the policies that are involved with that. Application insight and control. So it offers then the ability for you to see what kind of applications are being used, use that information to throttle or maybe block those applications. And that way you can make sure that the application that should be running is running smoothly and keeping your business running without interruption. So all of that is just making sure that the connectivity, your all of your users, the productivity level of that is maintained as well. So you can block those types of applications on the application level. And you can also then create guest networks with this too. As long as you're using that Nebula platform, you can enable a guest network access or a private network, and then also have other separate networks like for your POS or card machines that don't need to go through a guest access portal to authenticate. So you can set up all of those separate, VLANs and SSIDs with those kind of priorities so that they can have, those devices can have access through, while your guests can then be sent to a splash page or a walled garden type page when they try to log in to advertise that business or that coffee shop or whatever it may be. So you can use that very easily within the cloud platform there as well. Let's see, Wayne does ask, will there be a PoE version for IP telephones or WAPs? That is kind of in the talks for not this version of the 60, but possibly the next one up. So another USG Lite device that's being planned. So it would be kind of similar to maybe the USG Flex 100 HPs that we have that give you that PoE option. So again, we're trying to find ways to make it more simplistic, that everything is kind of in this one box. It's still in that discussion whether or not that new version will have that PoE, or if you're really needing that in a kind of a larger business deployment scenario, that you would go with the USG Flex 100 HPs that have that. Rusty asks, is USG Lite 60 VPN compatible with Windows VPN? It should be compatible with the Windows built-in VPN. We can double check that too, but it does, the IKE, as long as it supports like the IKE V2, we have to double check if it does if L2TP is even supported anymore in a lot of the newer OSs. A lot of that has been kind of cycled out of it, of the newer versions. Is there a Wi-Fi 7 version planned? Joe asks. And the answer is maybe. I haven't seen it yet, but because we do have, the SCR50AXC, which is a Wi-Fi 6E version. Most likely, if the product is quite successful, then it's going to move to and continue. Then it's going to have a Wi-Fi 7 version. It went back to an AX just because it's more for the compatibility from the cost perspective right now. I think cost has always been a kind of a mindset of this scenario, where those customers in a small home office may not need full Wi-Fi sets. Let's see, I think I just had some internet connection issue here real quick. Sorry about that. If there's anything that is like more business level with like a Wi-Fi 7 scenario, you probably would be using a bigger firewall plus a switch that powers the Wi-Fi 7 APs of your choice into the office space that's necessary. So there's that balance of cost and use, because most of the client devices and POS systems today, and even client devices, probably don't even have Wi-Fi 7. And so it would be, having it is maybe a marketing thing, but then the cost will be pushed up higher and into providing Wi-Fi 7. So that's why this first iteration is that AX, still Wi-Fi 6, because I think in most offices today, most people haven't even moved from maybe even Wi-Fi 5 to Wi-Fi 6, let alone think about going to Wi-Fi 7. So maybe that long answer for that, but we did build the product with 95 post-consumer recycled plastics. So just with the whole carbon footprint, minimizing the box as well, it helps with shipping. We're able to put 40, almost 50% increase in units per packet. So being able to ship that and the cost of the shipping, is reducing all of that altogether. And I think it's just a wise thing to do. There's certain products that are out there in the market that just have tons of packaging. And so it's just a waste that, we don't know what to do with it. We throw it into a recycle bin, or it goes to a landfill, which is very unfortunate. So, hopefully this helps. At least every little bit helps, I think. So we're proud of that. Simple, scalable, especially for MSPs. Like I said, all-in-one router, subscription-free security. So that's very important, and it uses our Nebula Cloud platform. So MSPs can use this, 100 device with other 100 devices in the Nebula platform as another piece for your types of customers. You may have your, PCI or HIPAA compliancy customers. They use the USG Flexes and USG Flex H's. You have your small retail POS type who use other types of security but need a basic security router. This is where this USG Lite firewall comes into play. So you have, again, a variety, just another piece of the puzzle for your networking needs. So to connect small home offices, you just, again, be able to have this deployed. They can do self-install. You can send a self-install kit to a remote user or to the office. You don't need any kind of network expertise to do it, as long as you can plug in cables and wires into a internet connection, which I think everybody who owns a business or a home today has done that themselves, or even configured a basic router themselves in order to get it to work, via DHCP. This is just going to be in a plug and play scenario for most of those customers anyways, because again, it calls home back to the Nebula head end, gets its information, and gets deployed. No additional software required for setup. You can use it by an app, or you can pre-configure it by your technicians, pre-provision it in the cloud. And because of its subscription-free security, it protects things like ransomware out of the box. 4 gigabit ports, for printers, phones, other wired devices that you might need, as well as the dual 2.5 gig ports. So you can then choose, do you use both for the WAN side, or most customers will use one for the WAN, one for the LAN, so that at least some of the devices inside that can benefit from the 2.5 gig can utilize that. I would suggest that going to a multi-gig switch that could plug into a extended AP if you needed to, or going to a server of some sort or a backup server that needs that higher throughput port. Um, or for teleworkers, pretty much same scenario. I would recommend this for offices and client devices of around 10 users, maybe up to, it could do 100 devices based on its specs. But again, you could push it as far as you want, but just know that there are or could be limitations in those kinds of networks that are much bigger. So it's ideal for that coffee shop that has less than 10 POS systems. You could still have additional guest networks again because they're not always using it. They're just there for a short period of time. They're usually transient type users there. So you don't have to worry about, hundreds of devices all kind of making connectivities all at the same time. Um, so connect figuring plug and play deployment again, if you have multiple sites there you can manage under a single org. So your customer might have multiple retail stores that you can again deploy in a kind of very cookie cutter type scenario. And because all of this is tied into Nebula, I wanted to do just a quick overview of some of the key feature sets within Nebula. I know half of you or so, or more than half of you, know about Nebula, but it's a good refresher. Maybe something here reminds you of something that you didn't realize the product had or Nebula has today. So it's there. Nebula is in our cloud. It's managed in the AWS. It protects, manages security, wireless and switching networks all in a single cloud platform. There's no additional hardware or software to make that connectivity. You don't have to install anything. You just have to use the devices that have Nebula controlled there. You can access the network and information about the network anytime, making connectivity changes or configuration changes anywhere you have internet connectivity or in a browser. So you can configure, monitor, you can get alerts and alarms, remote access to those devices without having to build a backend VPN tunnel or a backend, a backdoor remote desktop in order to get information from that network. You get that network clarity when you need it most. Whenever you have to troubleshoot information, you can get Wi-Fi SSID information, you can get client device information to troubleshoot to see, hey, do I need to deploy another access point? Maybe I do need to add a meshing AP in that remote office room in order to give them better Wi-Fi because their current connection of maybe their mobile devices are a lot weaker and they can't have a good signal strength connectivity back to the router. So again, being able to have that visibility is invaluable for you to support your customers and to plan out those networks. Rusty does ask, using your coffee shop example, is it easy to segregate public access use from internal business device data? Yes. So you can create then multiple separated networks like you would do a typical router. So you should be able to have a guest network that's VLANed out as well as business, for your POS. You can do multiple different ones as well. It's just the port integration part that might be more defined or less configurable, I guess you could say, than a USG Flex type. So you should be able to do that with your Wi-Fi and your Wi-Fi SSIDs in that regard. But it is made, kind of tailor-made for those kinds of coffee shops examples. So you can have a private POS system network just for your POSs, and it can have the higher priorities versus like a client device that's using the guest network for data. Joe raised their hand. I don't know if Joe, did you ask a question? If you want to, you can ask a question. Okay, can you show us the Nebula configuration screen for this device so we can see what's available for security compared to the regular UTM subscription? I don't have access to that right now. I don't have a device loaded within the Nebula platform, but I will show you a kind of comparison from a security standpoint from the feature set on what is kind of the main differences between that in just a moment. Fast and efficient updates. So if you have a lot of devices, configuration changes, and things like that for multiple customers, multiple devices, you can do that easily and quickly and push those configurations to them. You have then built-in user management within the Nebula Cloud as well. So if you need to do cloud authentication, or you want to do any kind of two-factor authentication, WOPA, enterprise user access authentication, it can be managed within this Nebula platform as well. So you don't need any external Radius servers, et cetera, to do that. You can do it all in one place. You can establish L2TP, or you can IPsec connectivity within the devices and within the Nebula platform. And it gives you the dashboard in our award-winning cloud networking platform, centralized to manage all of your networking devices. And you can customize that widget and dashboard for each customer as you need. The mobile app is great as well. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback on it, because not only for the alerts and alarms, but more so for the onboarding of devices. And you'll see a more streamlined process as well. If you want to learn more on how to streamline your process and have maybe an installer have the app, but they can't access anything else, they could just onboard devices. You can configure those types of accounts as well. And we now support over 100 different devices in our Nebula Cloud platform, including this new USG Flex 60, USG Lite 60AX. You can discover more information about Nebula and the devices there at zyxel.com/nebula. So I did mention that it is subscription free. So there is that baseline of security subscription available, but there is an upsell opportunity for you, and a recurring revenue opportunity for MSPs and partners, is that we offer now an Elite Pack, and it adds some additional functionality and security. So right now, the Elite Pack extends the subscription free by giving you a premium ransomware prevention. So it goes real-time updates and threat intelligence, versus the other one is, I think it's more of a kind of not, real-time update. It still gives you ransomware malware blocking though. Web filtering access, things like, for content filtering that you're used to based on categories, be able to regulate access to different websites, etc. And it also includes then the Nebula Pro Pack. So a lot of the management features that are part of the Pro feature set, including VPN orchestrator, a lot of the kind of additional reporting type tools, and customizations of reports and things like that, is part of the Nebula Pro. So you can upgrade with this optional pack. I think street price on this is set for, I think, $50 a year. That's the street price. So very low entry point, judging by the fact that you also get that content filtering, which will be valuable for some offices, some businesses who want to have that level of control. So maybe this is a little bit more of a kind of side by side on what you get with the subscription free. The subscription free side, you get the ransomware blocking, you get the dark web blocker, the mail fraud phishing blocking ads capable. You can block VPN proxy sites. You can block firewall. So you have a firewall there. You can do GIIP. There's an allow list and block list to, maybe for some of the devices or certain places that you don't want blocked for certain users, you can allow or block specifically. You can identify the traffic and applications and clients in the subscription free. So the extra security there is the real-time intelligence, and that's powered by Trellix. And then the web filtering, the DNS-based filtering as well by Trellix. And then the Pro Pack Advanced feature set. Those are kind of the add-on features there. So this is just an overview, again, a summary of the feature sets here, the product highlights. Subscription free, Wi-Fi 6. It's an AX 6000 that can mesh to any of the access points that we use in Nebula. Client application visibility. The fact that we use recycled plastics, it has auto VPN capabilities as well for site-to-site and remote access, that dual 2.5 gig WAN LAN ports for higher speed connectivity, Nebula management and visibility, fast, easy configuration, plug and play deployment using Nebula and the app. And you have that optional Elite pack to add some additional functionality and security to the product. Rusty asks, I assume only attachments, not links. I have to double check to see what that what the email kind of blocking filtering does specifically. It's probably mostly just like the phishing, just probably to market using probably our email security functions in our USG Flex. So it's probably similar to that application there. So comparing it to our effortless models, which is our USG Lite 60AX, to our flexibility, which is our USG Flex models, you kind of get a kind of a comparison side by side. So the main differences here: web filtering. These are part of the bundled when you buy all of the when you buy the device with the full UTM suite. This gives you all of these levels of security functionality. So on the additional stuff that the USG Flexes have is like two-factor authentication for the VPN login. This is going to be probably supported in the near future on the two-factor for the USG Lite. But things like WAN load balancing, flexible LAN groups or policy routing, external radius support, traffic shaping by IP or subnet, security profile synchronization across multiple devices, access to SICU, the full-blown SECU reporter, intrusion detection, prevention, HTTPS inspection, malware, sandboxing, IP reputation, DNS filtering. If you're in need of that level of security, then go with the USG Flex type series. Otherwise, if you don't need that full-blown security and your offices are currently using like an SPI firewall, then this is the next kind of step up better than that. So then it gives you this subscription-free capable security. See if there's another question here. On the throughput, we just hit the screen right here. So on the throughput side of things, the SCR50 compared to the SCR50, the SPI firewall throughput was a 900 megabits per second with the threat management at 900 megabits per second. And this USG Lite 60AX is rated for 2 gigs, so 2000 megabits per second. So this also then gives you that remote access VPN using IKV2 or site-to-site VPN using IKE v2 as well. So before, you can only do that site-to-site IPsec, IKE v2 with the SCR, but now with the USG Lite, you can do both for devices that use the IKE v2. And the recommended for gateway to gateway VPN tunnels is for 3. So 3 devices. Number of SSIDs you can see as well. There was 4 in the SCR15, and in this new model is 8 SSIDs and supports that smart mesh capability. So understanding some of the competition that we're kind of facing, where this product is kind of situated, against the Meraki Go, the Ubiquiti Gateway Max, and even the Dream Router. The number of clients, recommended number of users we say is 10. You could do more than that, again, because of the number of sessions and DHCP. But this is where it's segmented, I would say. That's what we position it at from a price perspective as well. So from a price perspective, the USG Lite 60AX has a street price point of $229.99. So $230 street price. Of course, this is also available with your partner discounts. So if you're bronze, silver, gold, you'll get those appropriate discounts at distribution at those percentages that is part of your tier. Max number of concurrent VPN tunnels is 5. Again, the LAN port speeds 2.5. Um, and then the WAN side is also 2.5. So you do get those two 2.5 ports. It's Wi-Fi mesh capable, and it offers you all the way up to WPA3 security and a much higher Wi-Fi speed performance than the other gateways, which the Meraki and the Ubiquiti Gateway Max does not have. Only the Dream router has that. And so from a ransomware, from a security standpoint, a lot of the Meraki Go product, there's additional subscriptions required in order to get that, whereas ours is in a, in a free mode. So this is inclusive of for the product. So comparison again between a lot of that. And within the cloud, you can use the Nebula free platform, or you can upgrade to the Pro if you have other devices in that network that need to take it to that Pro level. Remember, in an org situation, if you have a customer that needs additional switches or gateways or access points in other sites, the entire site or org has to go to a Pro level in order for all the devices to be Pro. So you just have to manage your subscriptions that way. If you want to have customers who are just on the free side, then make sure they're in a completely free org without any kind of pro devices in there, so you don't waste the pro licenses on those devices. Alex asks, will this support remote SSH feature Nebula offers? Alex, in this particular scenario, it does not, because there's no need for it to support that remote SSH feature, because it's all configurable and managed, manageable in the cloud. You could still manage it in the GUI. You could log into the GUI directly if you want, but there isn't a tunneling SSH through Nebula to the device, because there's no need for that. As long as the device is available and connected to the internet, then it can call home to Nebula and have that connectivity for configuration. And you'll be able to get that information to troubleshoot there. So these are the mesh capable APs. Again, it's pretty much all of the Nebula managed APs that are mesh capable, which is pretty much everything we offer that's part of Nebula today. So you see all the new WBEs, all the WAXs, even the WAC 500Hs, the NWA series as well. But I wanted to point out something kind of interesting as well. We do have a cool desktop mounting kit for the wall plate for the WAX 300Hs and the WAC 500Hs. It comes as a 10 pack, but what this allows for you to do is to use that. I don't know if many of you have seen it. It's like a hospitality kind of a on-wall AP with PoE ports and pass-through Ethernet ports. It's a Wi-Fi AP that usually is going to be used in a kind of a hospitality scenario, but this is a great device that you could use to be your satellite meshing AP, because you can get that little mounting kit and the desktop kit to put this device on as like a stand and mesh it to a USG Lite 60AX to extend that network, or use it to maybe mount within the retail shop or that space that you're trying to get better connectivity. So that might be an option for you to decide and to use as well. So we have that coming available as well. The SKU in itself might be, and some distributions might not be there, but we'll be drop shipping them if necessary, but they should be skewing up or skewed up very shortly. So we are thinking about also making a kind of a bundled kit where you have a 10 pack of the mounting kits or the desktop stands with 10 power plugs, so that you can buy that set alongside with your WAX 300Hs to use it in a extension network or in a meshing type scenario. Because once you mesh it, you don't need a Ethernet PoE injector, or you could use a PoE injector if you'd like to. Maybe there's no power plug that's up on the ceiling area and you need that. But if you do need a power plug, then you can attach that to it and power the device by a DC 12 volt DC plug. Here's some more, just kind of the background specs. 20,000 concurrent sessions. And some of the Wi-Fi specs. So again, it's a dual radio, 4x4 on each one of the radios, providing 2.4 and 5 gigahertz there because it's Wi-Fi 6. And then just some other, additional specs that we did cover. So from a networking standpoint, let's go back real quick and we'll just talk through. You have your ransomware blocking, intrusion blocking, dark web blocks, mail fraud, phishing, ads, the same that we saw earlier, GeoIP blocking, exception list, allow security analysis, threat reports, the real-time intelligence that you can add to it, web filtering that you can add to it with the Elite Pack, site-to-site VPN, remote access VPN capable. You can have DHCP static IP, PPPoE, reserving IP MAC binding. So this is great too for in a scenario where you want your POS systems to do a DHCP, but based on the MAC address of that POS, you want to give it a specific IP so you can better manage your IP space, let's say, or maybe put them into a smaller subnet or in the first sets of IPs for better, easier management. But you can reserve IP managed binding. So we added that as a feature on launch of this product, whereas in the beta, it didn't have it yet. So during the beta, we added that functionality to be able to IP bind through the interface. So you can see a device, it gets an IP, you can just say, hey, I want this MAC address to get that IP, or always get that IP, or get this new IP. You can block clients, you can add virtual servers through NAT, DHCP server and relay, dynamic DNS, static routing, guest networks, VLAN, you can have up to 4. Onboarding WAN, setting methods there for management, site-wide SSID management as well. So the cool thing is once you deploy the device, the router, and the SSIDs, and if you have additional APs within that same site, you can have it all have that same identity with the different SSIDs, with the same sets of SSIDs in that whole network. So you can do site-wide management on that. Multi-site management. You have diagnostic information tools and visibility on the clients. You're able to upgrade all the firmwares of these devices, configuration, backup, restore, a lot of tools that you can use to look at Wi-Fi health information and to see where you can improve your connectivity, like wire testing, etc. Remote diagnostics and support. And then the Nebula Pro Pack advanced feature sets there. And this is what it looks like from its different angles. And it does have a little stand piece that can allow for it to stand on its end like a book, or it could be laid flat on its belly. And that's what comes in the box. It may just come with the US power plug, but some of the cases, the product may come with the universal, plug kit. So then you could choose which country's outlet can be used in. So that's the introduction to our new USG Lite 60AX. And if you're not currently a partner with us, we'd love for you to sign up. All new partners start out at silver, and we want you to get to gold because that's kind of the best option for you. You get the max amount of discount on margin through distribution. You have access to also lead referrals, system engineer access special, and also advanced replacement options as well. We do have an education site that is a kind of a paid certification, but if you are a partner, contact your sales rep for a voucher that can basically get you those certification access for free. So please take advantage of that and take those education courses. There are sales related courses. So you could be like a Zyxel certified sales rep, or you can go into the certified engineering route as well for the different types of products, wireless security, Nebula, switching, etc. So please take advantage of that. Reach out to your sales reps for those vouchers. And just all it is making a request. We are, again, channel friendly within distribution. So we're at DNH, Ingram Micro, TD Synnex, Wave, Target, and we just launched recently Blue Star distribution, primarily in Canada, but may come to the US in the coming year or so, but available in Canada. If you'd like to connect with me or other or us at Zyxel, our LinkedIn is Zyxel-US channel. If you look on LinkedIn for Zyxel TRI, you'll find me and be able to connect with me as well. And you can also find videos like this and other training videos on our YouTube at Zyxel America channel. Now we do have a few minutes. If you do have any questions, it's your turn now to ask. Please use the Q&A section. Wayne says, looking forward to using these devices. Your presentations are awesome. You are awesome, Wayne. Thank you for being a longtime partner, and any of you guys being longtime partners as well. Even if you're a new partner, we thank you for that business. We thank you for that opportunity. Again, if you'd like to try out any of our products, including the USG Lite 60, reach out to your sales reps. We have NFR units that we can sell to you for your testing, or if there's certain customers that you need to do a field trial, those kinds of things, we can work out with you in order to provide those so you can get a proof of concept done or anything like that. Also, I just wanted to throw it out there too. If you guys want to be part of our testimonial, kind of our testimonial team, reach out to me. My email is tri@zyxel.com, and say, hey, I'd love to put in a good word for Zyxel. What do I need to do? And it's going to be simple. It's going to be just a simple quote. We'll just have your company name. If we can get your headshots and your company logo information, because I would love to be able to use that in our marketing. We want to create a splash page or like a microsite of these testimonials. We also are working on testimonial videos and things like that. So if you do have an application or have deployed an application in the past that has been a great testimony to you or for Zyxel, then please let us know as well. We've been working with partners to releasing video white papers and video case studies on those type of unique applications to publish to the world and to be able to share with other partners and be able to share the successes that you have. So again, reach out to me if you have any of those, any of that information. So try and make it quick and easy for you. At this time, I don't think there's any other new questions. I think we've answered all of the ones that came in line. So I do appreciate your time. I appreciate your afternoon and this morning to be able to share it with me and learning about the new USG Lite 60AX. So look forward to seeing some of those getting sold out soon or into your hands so you can start playing with that and testing it out and seeing if it's a good fit for your customers on, maybe on that kind of the affordability side of things, or maybe you have your smaller customers that this might be a better fit for versus than using a full UTM type scenario or product. But of course, I'm in the security space. I would love for you to always be using full UTM, gold packaging, sandboxing type scenarios, but you just need to know what you're doing in that. There's great, security, but you have to know how to configure it so you can, make sure that usability is still there while you're still providing the security levels that you should be. But hopefully this gets you a step closer to that space, and maybe your customers will appreciate this type of product. So until next time, thank you again for joining me, and look forward to seeing you at an event or maybe on a visit sometime, and look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you for your time. Hope you have a great rest of your week, a great rest of your day.